Shit.
All right.
I'll stop drinking coffee. I'll focus. Wait, let me see.
All right.
Let me turn this filter off. Hang on, that's what's causing the problem. There we go. It'll stop the background noise.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Simon. I think this is the first time we've spoken in weeks, man. We've got a couple got canceled on us. We've had to move on from other guys, and it's just the two of us right now. But I think, whether you know it or not, I probably got 5, maybe 6 DMs a week. Where's Simon? What's he doing? Where did he go? Why is he not responding to me? I'm trying to get a hold of him. I'm like, he's busy. So, yeah, what have you been up to? I know transportation in Colorado is on the up and up, but I don't think it gives the full picture of what you're actually going through right now. So, what have you been up to for? I think it's been about a month, maybe 2, that you've been operating at a high level.
I mean, Doug, yeah, that's true. I certainly feel bad for the LinkedIn, my LinkedIn presence. I feel bad for the lack of my LinkedIn presence. But I think we spoke about this recently, and it's the last man syndrome, the last man standing syndrome. And what I mean by that is that before COVID, there were about 1,000 transportation operators in Colorado. And once COVID hit and really took hold in the last year, we're now down to about 200 operators. So 20%, this is not the 80-20 rule that most people know. 80% of the companies have failed in our industry and 20% are left, which means that if you're one of the 20% left, you may have also reduced your transportation fleet capacity. So you may have said, okay, I might have been a 40 vehicle fleet, but once the pandemic hit, I needed to jettison all the expense I could. So I may be down to a 10 car fleet or whatever you want to call it. And so that's where we find ourselves, that we had a record March. We've never transported more people. And, we're looking like to have a record April. And the pressure that's put on the business has been, I've never seen anything like it in the 5 or 6 years I've been doing this. My intention was with re-engaging with LinkedIn and with working with people like you was to just walk away from the transportation business. We have a great general manager. We have a great team. And I just thought I could go do, I'm happy to go back to consulting and just consult on the stuff that I really like. Well, all that got thrown out the window, in the last 60 days. And we're scrambling to find people. One of the lessons I learned, though, which I think has been interesting, is that if you're in one of those businesses that has survived survived the pandemic, but has been severely impacted, like transportation. So if you're in that sector like transportation, and there's only a handful of you left, here's the thing that's made all the difference for us, and it's customer service. And people say, yeah, well, what does that mean? Well,
and also, I want to point out something else that you missed. It's that not only transportation in Florida, but you had some really bad weather in Colorado, right? And
yeah, we did.
It was like a perfect storm of increase in demand, bad weather, and then spring breaker, right? All three of those things at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was the perfect storm. And, we had a record winter. We've never taken more people to the ski resorts because the partner that we have in Summit County, so up in the mountains, their fleet reduced from 45 vehicles down to 14. So he went, he reduced his capacity by 2/3. So he needed a company like us to help him. And so he was just throwing work at us, which, we were running from 4 a.m. till, midnight. And so, but if you go back to the customer service thing, is that the country is on the verge of exploding in terms of travel, right? You can't tell an American family that you can't go anywhere for a year and expect them to take any notice, right? And so now that the pandemic is, let's call it not under control, but certainly people are being vaccinated. That psychological, importance of vaccination. 20% of the country have been vaccinated. 30% of the country will never be vaccinated, and we understand that. And whether you agree with it or not, that's not the topic of this discussion. But it means that more and more people are comfortable about traveling now because they've all been, they're getting vaccinated. And so I think the summer holidays are going to bring the next tsunami, on our industry. But if we go back to the customer service thing, it's because we're doing one simple thing that our competitors aren't, and we're answering the phone. So people want, like if you're an airline, the best thing that you could do with an airline is keep adding and adding and adding customer service people. Like, tell your call center in India or the Philippines, double the size of the capacity, of that. Because we've tripled our customer service resource. So we now have people on the phones, from 7 a.m. till 9 p.m. We're about to go through the night. So we're about to add a third shift. And I'm about to double the capacity we have on a Monday, because Monday is our highest call volume day. And I think it's, if you're in a business that works hard to get the phone to ring, like Doug, if you were spending money on Google and you were saying, okay, or LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever you were doing, and saying, I'm getting the phone to ring, then why wouldn't you do everything you can to try and close that sale on the phone, or convert the customer, or get the booking, or get the customer to commit, complete the order form, sign up to the podcast or the seminar. And that's I know it sounds stupidly simple, but that's made all the difference for us, because a good reservationist, a good customer service person on the phone can make us a lot of money in a day. Like a multiple of, a huge multiple. And so I think that's in a nutshell what's happened, is that this last man standing syndrome is causing huge pressure, or putting huge pressure on businesses that are still left. Because one is they've got to decide, well, do I want to go borrow a whole lot more money and rebuild the business to cope with the demand? Or do I not? Do I just want to, everyone was so shell-shocked by what happened in the last year in travel and transportation that they think, shit, I don't want to go back to being 100-car fleet. Or United Airlines says, I don't want to go back to running 600 aircraft. We want to do it on 300. And I want to furlough all these people. But that's the dilemma. And I don't have the answer to that. I know the answer for us. And the answer for us, we're going full speed, right? So that's,
I think you told me yesterday, part of your full speed is obviously increasing your customer service rep, but also you guys went out and bought a Tesla to be a part of your fleet, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to buy 5 Teslas. We're committed to going electric. We're buying more Sprinters because our shuttle business is under load. And so,
expanding. You're expanding, actually.
Yeah, definitely. We bought a company at last year, which we closed on in February. We'd look at buying another one if the deal was right. But yeah, I mean, I do see that as the opportunity. I mean, I've never seen more opportunity in our industry. In an industry that was decimated, I see nothing but opportunity. But I can see how other people can say, well, shit, there's no way I'd go back to that. And it's something that you can't explain. And I think it's, and it's something like just something as stupidly simple as answering the phone. And people call us, Doug, and say, oh, thank God you answered the phone. I've called 4 companies and you were the only one that picked up.
That's crazy to me, because I think Amazon is to blame for that. I think we call it the Amazon effect, which is you had a problem with your packet or you had a customer service problem, Amazon will answer you within minutes. And people expect that everywhere, and companies haven't caught up to the Amazon effect. So, for example, Uber, if you have a problem with Uber, getting somebody to talk to you is not going to happen. It takes a lot of hoops to get somebody in Uber or Lyft to talk to you.
Right.
You could try to talk to your driver if they want to pick up the phone. They probably won't. But in your case, you're almost like doing business one-on-one. It seems like everybody's forgotten about business. Ever since the app was invented. So they said, well, as long as people go to the app, all their problems are solved. That's not true. People still have very nuanced questions and concerns. They actually want to speak to somebody. And
See,
you guys stepped into that void quickly, right?
yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. What I think the last year has proven to people, and it's been a very good social experiment, is that humans need human interaction. For a lot of people, the last 12 months was one of the most probably socially isolating things they've ever gone through. Stay at home orders, can't go out for dinner, can't go out for a drink, can't visit family or friends. And you're basically confined to your house. Now, not everyone has a family, not everyone has pets. You know, there's a lot of people that live alone. I mean, I wish I lived alone and my children would leave, but I think they're going to be with me till they're old, right? But you know, but seriously, humans need that human interaction. You know, we're social beings, and so you're exactly right with Uber. Every morning, Doug, our phone rings from 4 a.m. and it's from people that scheduled their Uber rides the night before, and the Uber driver didn't show up. Okay. And so they want to talk to a human. And when they get to a human, we can get them to commit to anything at that point. Because a human is saying, I understand, Doug, let me help you. We're going to send a car. And this is the cost. And a person who would never dream of spending the sort of money that we're about to charge them to go to the airport says, thank God, can you please come get me? Now, we're not saying we take advantage of that situation. The pricing is not dynamic. We're just saying that's what it costs for us to roll a car at 4 o'clock in the morning to come get you. Okay. But Uber and Lyft, if you want to talk about it, they're in big trouble at the moment because there's a national shortage of drivers. So that's compounding the pressure more on transportation companies that have got customer service facilities to say, yeah, we're answering the phone and yeah, we can get a car for you, or no, we can't. But you're right. I mean,
we talked about this before too. Uber also missing another important element, which is reliability. So if I book the night before for a 5 a.m. trip to the airport, I want an Uber driver on my driveway at 5 a.m. If it's not there, I feel like you lied to me.
Well, it's not that. See, so here's the thing. Don't bust the driver's balls. It's not his fault. And I'll tell you why.
No, not the driver, but the system.
Well, yeah, and the system, and I think we spoke about this. The way the system works is this. So if you're sitting at home and Doug says, okay, I need to schedule or book an Uber for tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So the app will let you go and reserve that ride or pre-book that ride for 6 a.m. Okay. So you don't get a confirmation number though. You just say, yeah, the trip is booked. And if you look in your app, it says you've got a pending trip. So tomorrow morning comes and 5:30, the Uber network starts to look for a car for you in Chicago, Illinois. Okay. In peak hour. And there's a national shortage of drivers. And it starts looking and looking and looking. And it starts, sending the request out to the available drivers. And it can't find them. So it starts sending the request out even further. 10 minutes from your house, 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes from your house. Well, no intelligent Uber driver is going to accept a trip that he or she has to drive 45 minutes to get to you, that you may only want to go 15 minutes down the road. And so that's the problem. You can't, just because you've scheduled a ride with Uber doesn't mean they're going to show up. And, that's the difference between us, whether we're a shuttle operation or whether a executive car service, we always show up. We have to show up, and if we don't, you speak to a human and saying, what the hell happened? And I think that's why people are gravitating back to that. I want to speak to humans now. I want you to listen to my problem. I want you to hear the exasperation in my voice. Travel is not a bed of roses anymore, Doug. It's stressful. There's a lot of friction. People are on edge. I mean, the Denver airport's running at about 77% of capacity. So the TSA numbers are breaking records every week now. So people are, there's only one way to go, and that's up for travel. Yeah. And I think it's going to put a huge load on the industry, which is I'm not complaining. It's a great thing, but it's overwhelming the people that are left. That I can promise you.
Let's go back a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what your day is like at peak. Long shuttle day. What were you doing? What was going on when you woke up if you ever went to sleep?
Yeah, so the day starts at 4 o'clock or a little bit earlier, and we have a customer service team based in New York, and so that team we do that for a reason, because their 4 a.m. is 2 a.m. for us. Right. So they can catch up on everything that's happened through the night, and then they make sure that all the drivers are awake, and the vehicles are running, and that all the what they call the dispatching is done. So we might have 20 vehicles running in the morning at 6 o'clock or whatever. Like today, we've got customers that we had to pick up of a CEO in Miami. We've got another one in California. We've got to take a customer here to their private jet at a point, and so there's a lot of logistical stuff that the team have got to do behind the scenes to make sure that all of our partners know what's going on. And then you've got the shuttle customers that are, whilst they may be, they may pay a very low rate to get to the airport, the customer service load that they put on our business is significant. The shuttle might be 2 minutes late, and so they call, where's the shuttle? And so that puts the call volume has been, like crazy. And so I think we've just tried to streamline everything as much as we can. And we've, we'll have a debrief every day. We have a call in the morning, an ops call in the morning, and one in the evening. And we say, okay, what do we need to do? And, a lot of the team will talk about the tech. And I say, this is not a tech problem. It's a human problem. We need to add more humans, and so that's the sort of stuff that we do.
That's and then there's just stepping in, right? You're actually driving people. You're a driver.
Yeah, I'm absolutely. I wanted to stop driving a while ago, but we've got, we literally can't recruit enough people. And, I've always loved doing that part of our job, but it's not really efficient when you've got the boss driving, the business, right? Or driving customers. I mean, I'll do it. Of course I'll do it. Everyone has to do what they do, right? And I've always been a very hands-on owner, but I think it's just, something I didn't think I'd be working 20 hours a day doing. But as I said, it's a good problem to have. And, I think that, go back to your Amazon example, that's the biggest frustration, with a lot of this, digital revolution. I mean, I'll give you my Amazon example, which I just couldn't fathom as a business owner. Okay. So we ordered an ice machine for work, like one of those big commercial ice machines. Okay. In the summer, we use a lot of ice, for the coolers and shit like that. So the delivery arrives, and instead of them sending one ice machine, they sent two. Okay. So I thought, oh shit. So I try and call them up. Well, you know how hard that was, right? Like, yeah. You literally, you lose the will to live. Go try and find that Amazon customer service number, that 800 number to call. Right? It'll take you hours. And hang on a second, Doug. I got someone's trying to call me.
Simon, we lost your video.
No, I know. Just wait. Someone's calling me and they won't leave me alone. What am I on Zoom? Holy shit.
Yeah, you're on.
Wait, I know. I got to find you back. Wait a second.
Okay.
This is what happens when you do it in the car, right? Oh, here we go.
There you go. Welcome back.
Okay, fine. So I finally managed to speak to someone and said, look, I got 2 ice machines. And the person says, well, you've only been charged for one. I said, I know, but I'm not going to have something that I didn't pay for. She said, no, you keep it. It's too expensive to send back. Okay. So a week later, the original ice machine stopped working. So I call up Amazon again. This one's faulty. Okay. We'll send you a new one. All right. No worries. What do I do with this one? I'll keep it. So now I got 3 ice machines. And the first one that was faulty started working again. So I paid for 1 and got 3. But that's how stupid that system is. Like to Amazon, it's more expensive for us to send for them to take back I don't know how much these were, 200 pounds each, heavy. They were big, heavy things. Right? They don't want to freight them all the way back. And what do? They send it. They probably have done a deal with the manufacturer to say, okay, we're going to buy 1 million ice machines, but you're going to give us 1.2 million because we're going to have a buffer of 20% to handle all the returns. And if I look at our business with our shuttle business, you know what the cost is, Doug. It's cost $49 to go to the airport. If anyone complains or we have any issue at all, we just refund the money because it's such an insignificant amount. Like that, to make the problem go away, just refund the customer money. It makes no difference to us really, But our issue is that you can always talk to a human, right?
I find it fascinating how much Amazon has totally changed the way we do business. It changed the way we market. It changed the way we do customer service. It changes the way we provide services to others. And it is totally, for me, for some clients that I have, totally changed or challenged them to think bigger, right? So if you are selling t-shirts and you don't like your t-shirt and your margins are so thin and you're going to sweat over somebody wanting a refund on the t-shirt, if that makes sense. That's just an analogy. Amazon has made it to the point where you have to plan for people to refund. You have to
They just built it into their formula. See, I think people in customer service, we deal with a lot of people every month. We're a high transaction business in our shuttle business, just like an airline. And so, people are going to complain. Doug, you've been doing this for a long time. Not every client you've had has been happy with Doug Lawson, okay? For whatever reason, okay? And, we had an issue the other day with a client that she went crazy and on Facebook and everything else. But our issue is we just refund the money as fast as we can because at least you take that portion off the table, okay? So if I was consulting and the client wasn't happy with the result, I would simply just refund the money as fast as I could. Because then you're going to get to the real crux of the issue. So was it a financial issue or was it did I not deliver? But you're taking the sting out of.
A couple of weeks ago, one of the clients was unhappy with our work. I said we were going to do that and this didn't happen. And they were raising such a big stink about it. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you your money back. So that's what I did. I refunded the money. I don't know how many marketers do that when a client unhappy with your work and not to the point where they're angry. And I wanted to diffuse the situation quickly. I said, here's your money back. And as quick as that, I put the refund back into their bank account. And like you said, was it a financial issue or was it because we didn't perform right? And turns out that they were just angry, so they kept the money, but I'm still working for them, which is a very strange customer service experience. But I didn't want them ever to say, I'm the bad guy here.
Right.
I'm not, you're complaining about my work. You're not happy with my work. Here's your money back. Take it. Yeah. And then you want to keep working with me. That's the part where I'm kind of like, so how much customer service is too much customer service?
I mean, in our business, there's no such thing. Like, we're not perfect. Of course we're not perfect. No one is.
Of course not.
But the thing that the last year's taught me is we operate in a community. So hyper local is what keeps me awake at night. Doing the right thing for the community.
And they talk. They talk.
Right. And so, yes, sadly, we have to be very active on social media. We have done nowhere near a good enough job on email marketing, which is why you and I are talking. Okay. Just because we're using the excuse that we've been too busy. We literally if we advertised on social media, if we started promoting our service on Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram, I wouldn't know what to do with the volume. I'd be scared that we couldn't just keep up, right? And so I know I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, but it's not. It's just that, I wouldn't want to put full page ads in the paper in Boulder County. I can't. We've got to try and keep up with what we've got. And so I think that's the dilemma. But our issue is also too, a lot of other places in Colorado are completely dead. I would hate to compete in the Denver market. There's just not enough going on. Whereas we just got very, very lucky with our geolocation, and our attitude is just go hyper local.
For those of you, I went to college at the University of Denver 20 years ago. But what's going on in Denver? I thought it would be booming.
No, it's not. See, and I don't know if this is happening in the rest of the country, but the push to live outside of big cities is huge. The housing markets, let's call it 30 miles plus outside of the metro area, are exploding. And so where I live in northern Colorado, it's huge. And there's we've got two colleges, one in Fort Collins, one in Boulder, and then south,
right,
we've got Colorado Springs. Now a lot of the experts are saying Colorado Springs will become the biggest city in Colorado. It will be bigger than Denver.
No, right. Colorado Springs, really?
Colorado Springs, yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, and that southern corridor that leads out of Denver down to Colorado Springs, you've got huge building and growth going on there.
I went to Colorado Springs a bunch. I never once thought it would be bigger than Denver. But stranger things have happened.
Right. And it's like saying, I know Chicago well, Doug, but I wouldn't live in downtown Chicago. I'd go live in Naperville, or somewhere, The
population of Chicago is declining, right?
Right.
So we have about maybe 2.7 million people in the city of Chicago, but the Chicagoland area, I'm talking about the Fire County, I'm talking about the Collier County, it's 11 million people. 11 million people in the surrounding suburbs of Chicago, all around it. And it's massive. So I absolutely agree with your assessment.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a Zoom last night with the city of Denver, and it was about Australians investing in the US and all that sort of stuff. And it was, what the Australian market doesn't understand is the size and scale of North America. They still have it, even as close as the two countries are, that's just something that you got to get your head around. And if you go back to,
how big is Australia from coast to coast in terms of California to New York? Would it fit the whole continent?
Yeah, so we're 7.7 million square kilometers. So you could virtually take Australia and lay it on top of America, and there wouldn't be much, we're nearly the same size, landmass wise.
So that's massive.
Yeah, it's a big joint.
It's like a blank in the middle. There's the coast.
Right.
With Sydney, and there's Perth, but there's nothing in there.
No.
There's nothing but a bunch of miners, right?
The population of the whole country is 2/3 the population of California.
Got it.
So, 11 million people for Illinois. Is that what you're saying? 11 million people?
There's 21 million people in the whole state. 11 million of them live in the Chicago suburbs.
So 21 million people is, you've got 95% of the Australian population.
Wow.
So.
Anyway, back to your story about your Zoom call.
Well, it's, I think, let's go back to sort of, LinkedIn and the importance of social media, right? So I think it's that everyone's got a reason for being on LinkedIn. And yes, I think that the sense of community has been amazing for me, meeting people like you and Amy and the Pope, and all these other people, that I've had an amazing time with. But remember, Doug, we've never depended on LinkedIn to generate business for us. And that was never my intention, and so I think that's my dilemma, in the sense that I love the community, and I'm absolutely committed to, to getting back onto it. But at the end of the day, you got to look at what the bigger priority is. And that's, if you're in self-employed and you run a business, then that's the priority for us. And it's, to keep going. But I think that the lesson for us too, which goes back to a lot of, I think there's a lot of people on LinkedIn looking for an answer, looking for the secret answer. There's a secret handshake, a secret doorway. But if someone told me that the secret to all of this has been customer service, that is having a human answer the phone, having empathy on the phone, being able to solve the problem on the phone, and being there, just being the fact that, if we need to add like more people, we're just going to keep adding more people. I don't care if I've got 20 customer service people offshore, or onshore. We're just going to keep doing that until we, well, of course there's an economic formula that you've got to use, but at the moment we're not even anywhere near that. And I think that a lot of people will say, well, like, let's build an online business where we don't have to touch anything. We just automate everything, make money while we sleep, minimal interaction, sell digital product. Yeah, that's all fine. But I think the real potential is going back to customer service 101 and talking to humans on the phone.
Humans.
Right. I mean, we look at how many weddings, there's over 500 weddings backlogged in Boulder County. That's all these pissed off brides to be couldn't get married last year. And they're scared shitless that their husband to be is going to take off, or their wife to be is going to take off. So, that we're getting calls every day about weddings, and we just say to them, you have to commit today, because we can only do 3 weddings a day, and there's already 2 weddings booked on the day of your wedding. And so people are like scrambling to make bookings with us, for wedding transportation.
Well, let's go down just slightly back about LinkedIn, about the priorities and so on and so forth. So I don't know if anybody needs to hear that, but if you're making money off LinkedIn, you're not, I am. Your goal is not to stay on LinkedIn. Your goal is to make money without LinkedIn. That is the goal. Because I can't do this when I'm 60. LinkedIn's not going to be here when I'm 60. It's always ever changing. And so if people depend too much on LinkedIn, you're going to find yourself in a world of hurt. You've got to diversify where you put your content. Also, you've got to own your content somewhere. Right. Somebody has to find you, irregardless of what platforms do, right? So if you're a YouTuber and you make your money off YouTube, you're gonna lose eventually. That's how it goes. So if you're all in on YouTube and you paid your house on YouTube money, you're gonna lose your house on YouTube money. I guarantee you. You've got to diversify how you get found. And that's been my challenge. In fact, I talked to the Pope the other day, because him and I are in the exact same mindset. It's LinkedIn not here for us. LinkedIn's here for LinkedIn. LinkedIn's gonna do what it needs to do to make the most money it can, while appearing like it truly cares about it. So I'm sure they do, but the powers that be, if there's a different way to do it that makes them more money, they're gonna do it. For example, they're gonna bring on a Fiverr-like page where you can find cheap labor on LinkedIn. At the click of a finger, the prices will be finally sent to, it'll be something like 50, 25 bucks. Now all of a sudden, we have to compete. What do I call high value services have to compete with low value. we're gonna have, some of us are gonna lose. We're gonna lose hard to the lowest common denominator, which is price. They're gonna start with the lowest price first and work their way up to you eventually. So anyway, what is my point? So I get you when you said, you know what, I've got to focus on my priority, the money driver, which is my business, the transportation business. And unfortunately for me, my money driver is on a network I don't own.
I mean,
So
I think that,
I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum with you.
yeah, but I think, Doug, the platform is critically important for you to develop credibility, right? So, and you already have that, your credibility, on LinkedIn is very, very high. Okay. But I agree with you in the sense that, you have X amount of clients. So you need to do two things. If you're in consulting, I think, is you need to be able to scale. So how do you get more clients? And then you need to be able to increase your fees, right? So how do you go from being $100 consultant to $1,000 consultant? Okay. So how do you do more with less? If that's what you want to do. I'm not this, I'm not motivated by money per se. Okay. I'm not.
What are you motivated by the way? Seriously.
I'm absolutely addicted to business. I love building things. I like the fact that we started with zero and now where we are. I love working out the challenges of shit. We've got, there's literally too much work for us to handle. How do we solve that problem? I like leading a team, and of course the money is important, but I want to make sure that the team are well fed and that they can support, I like the fact that our business is an ecosystem that supports families, and they can depend on us, to live and have a good life. Right. So, and I think I love, I think the transportation is a great business to be in because there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of problems to solve on a daily basis. We deal with a lot of customers, whereas consulting, I could be a great client, but, if you've only got 10 of them, what if you don't like 8 of them, right?
That's a bad
whereas I've got thousands of them, so if I don't like, we have a bad 30 minutes today with a client, I got to wait 2 hours and it's all better. Okay. And I like looking at the challenges of the future, what the future holds. Like the industry is going electric. And so we have to prepare ourselves for energy efficient, platforms.
Sure.
But, that creates another set of problems. But so I think that's, if you're in, I look at it a lot in the consulting space, like yours, to say, Doug, we're going to get Doug Lawson from having, 10 clients to 2 clients that pay him the same amount of money. And then how do you also generate content that can make you money while you sleep? But, and so I'm all about that. But see, everyone wants to speak to you, Doug, right? Everyone wants that human interaction with Doug Lawson. That's what your clients get satisfaction from. Yes, of course, you've got to deliver the content on a daily or weekly basis. But you'll find that if you did a survey, I think, after you, in a week with a client, you say, what was the most enjoyable part of the interaction with the Doug Lawson agency? Was it the email that I got last night with the content for the landing page? Or was it the conversation you and I had yesterday? That was absolutely the conversation we had yesterday.
And
Like
you look
this
at
is
my reviews on LinkedIn, they all say something to that effect that, great guy, really enjoyed talking to him. He really helped me out. Very little to do with the content, which always drives me bonkers because I'm like, talk about the result, talk about the content, but they rather talk about, like you said, their interaction with me, which
right.
I'm thankful for. So
yeah, and so because you're great at it, and and so I think that's the dilemma you have as a consultant, is that you've got to do more with less. So you've got to work out how do you and at the start, of course, you got to take on any client you can. You got to charge whatever you think the market will bear. But as you figure it out, and as your posture gets better, then it's the responsibility you have is to charge more and get better clients, and also get clients that refer you to other better clients. Okay, so and that's where I don't think consultants do a good enough job, is that they're not good at asking for help or getting referrals. Okay,
It's true.
and
Very true.
I mean, this is a funny thing. I bought a new suit the other day. It was quite weird because I haven't bought a new suit for a long time. And it's embarrassing when you buy a new suit, Doug, because when they take your waist measurement, you think, no, that can't be true. Okay, I'm not 42 inches in the waist. Anyway, so this company comes along and they come to your house, and a guy and a girl come to your house, and they show you all the clothes swatches and all that sort of stuff. And they did an amazing job. Like it was a great sales experience, and the quality of the suit was amazing. But when the lady came back to deliver the jacket, because they made some alterations, she had a LinkedIn printout of all my LinkedIn network. And she said, can you help me meet these people? And what level connection are these with
No
you?
way.
Yes.
That's very audacious. I don't think
Yeah.
I could bring myself to do that.
So you're going to get a call from a very cute chick in Colorado wanting to sell you a suit. Well, I told them you were very rich and you're going to buy 3. So don't worry.
Wow. So what did you do with this sheet that she gave you?
I didn't do anything yet. Well, I mean, I'm happy to refer them. Like the company's called Tom James. They did an amazing job. They have this is a very, very slick machine. And remember, they're selling a physical product, where they're coming in office and it's personal, because you got to strip down your underwear and try clothes on, right? Or they bring they're taking measurements and stuff. And I hate clothes shopping. I mean, look how I dress like a troll, right? Like, I hate it, right? So if I can pay someone just to do it, fine. But they've perfected this. Like, one, I didn't have to go to a store. They came to me. It's all online. The system's automated. But B, their referral system is how they've built their business, and they did a really good job of that. And I'll refer them to some customers that are local, that are clients.
If you end up referring somebody to them, do you get some sort of discount or something?
No. Well, I didn't, to be honest. Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I didn't ask. They didn't lead with that. They didn't say, hey, if you refer us to Doug Lawson and he ends up buying a suit, we'll give you a free tie or something, or a shirt or something. But I just thought that was interesting that, that they had my whole LinkedIn, they drilled into my LinkedIn profile and got all my second level connections.
That's
And
crazy.
said, do you know these
That's
people?
absolutely crazy.
Well, but is it? I think that's using LinkedIn intelligently.
Yes, I would agree with that. Okay, we don't have much time left.
No, go ahead.
I
gotta go.
What Simon's done for the last month and a half.
I'm here.
Believe it or not, you've got a lot of people. I do mean a lot. I would say about 10 who are looking for you.
I'll try and resurface today. I've got some time today. So, but as always, brother Doug, it's been a pleasure.
It's all right. I'll talk to you later. We've got other things to talk about. Okay? Take it easy.
Ciao.
All right.
See you, bud.
Good. All right.